Okay, this video is going to talk about special journal posting. So where we are in the process is you should have just completed recording all of your transactions from book 3 into special journals, and in some cases into general journals. And now we have to get the column totals from our special journals into our general ledger so that our account balances will be updated. Now here we see a representation of our sales journal, and we have all the transactions that represented sales for this particular project. Yours numbers may be different if you're using a different version of this practice set, but for this particular one we have looks like we had 6 sales, and in the column that says accounts receivable debit and sales credit, our total is $72,128. And in the column that says cost of merchandise sold debit and merchandise inventory credit, our column total is $43,200. Now this is the only special journal I've got filled in completely to show you this process, but you know, your other special journals like your purchases journal, it also has account names at the top. In this case, for the purchases journal, we have the accounts payable credit column. We're only going to post to one place out of this one place here, but in our sales journal we're going to be posting to 2 different places and 2 different places. So our job is to get the column totals into the right accounts, either as a debit or a credit depending on what they tell us, and update our balances. So accounts payable, merchandise inventory, and store supplies, all of these columns that have account names at the top, and whether it should be a debit or a credit entry, those column totals get posted one time at the end of the accounting period into our general ledger. The columns that say other accounts, you should have been posting as you went along into your general ledger. For example, in your cash receipts journal, this particular entry was for rent revenue in the other accounts column, and we should have already posted that to our rent revenue account. However, merchandise inventory credit with cost of merchandise sold credit, we have 2 postings here that need to go as column totals later at this point in the process. One posting to the sales account as a credit, one posting to accounts receivable as a credit, and one posting to cash as a debit. And then finally in our cash payments journal, we should have several entries in the other accounts column, but what we need to do here is get the total of the accounts payable debit and the total of the cash credit columns into our general ledger. So we will use, again, the sales journal to demonstrate how this process works. So this needs to be done in an order. You start with your sales journal and you work back through your purchases, then your cash receipts, then your cash payments journal, a column at a time. And so we're going to start here with the sales journal. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to our general ledger, book 2, and find the accounts receivable account. And that's right here. You can see there are already some entries and some balance updates that went on in the accounts receivable from our general journal on page 1. Those were some credit memos that we had done. But our job here is on the last day of the accounting period, which for us is a month, and this is June 30th, from our sales journal on page 1, we are going to post a debit, and that amount is $72,128. So we're going to go in here in the debit column and we're going to post 72128, and then we're going to update our balance of our accounts receivable general ledger account. We had $35,387.80 and we've just added 72,128. That makes the new balance of this account 107,515 and 80 cents. Now, we have posted this into our general ledger accounts receivable account. We need the general ledger accounts receivable account number, which is 112. And back in our sales journal, underneath the column total, we're going to put in parentheses account number 112 to show that we have posted that into accounts receivable. Then we're going to go find our sales general ledger account. So back in book 2, sales is back in the revenue accounts in the 400s area in this case. And right there is our sales account. We can see there was no entry in sales up to this point, so we need to fill in the date. This is June 30th, and this posting is going to come from our sales journal on page 1, and it's a credit for $72,128, and that will make the balance of our sales account $72,128. Now that we've posted that into the general ledger, to finish this process, we need that account number there, number 411. So back in your sales journal, below the other posting reference, you're going to go ahead and put in 411 in parentheses to show that that has been posted to the sales general ledger account. Then we're going to move on to the next column. We're going to find our cost of merchandise sold, and we're going to post a debit, as it says, for $43,200. So in our general ledger, in our general ledger, the cost of merchandise sold is right here. There are no entries so far, so we're going to put in June 30th. This came from, again, our sales journal on page 1, and it's a debit for $43,200. So we're going to put that here, $43,200. That makes our balance a debit of $43,200. And then we need this right here, 510. And so back in our sales journal, we're going to put 510. I'm going to copy this formatting into there. And so we're going to put 510. Oops. And there's our posting reference. We'll continue this. Now we're going to post a credit to merchandise inventory. This is stuff we sold to somebody else. It's no longer in our inventory, and a credit will reduce our inventory balance. So back in our general ledger, inventory should be back towards the front, probably about the second page of your book. And right here is our inventory. You can see we've had a few entries to the inventory account. Those were the 4 credit memos that were done. And now we're going to post on the 30th from our sales journal on page 1 a credit of $43,200. Whoops, hit the wrong buttons there. Back, 200. And now we have to update our balance. We had a debit balance. We did a credit entry. That means subtract. And so once we take $88,607.40 and we subtract $43,200, our new balance should be $45,407.40. Finally, we need that number right there, 114. So back in our sales journal, the posting reference will be 114. And we're done with posting all this information from our sales journal into our general ledger. Then we move on to our purchases journal and post the column total to accounts payable. Then we would post our column total to merchandise inventory and our column total to store supplies. There's an entry here that we don't have shown yet, and that should have already been posted. And then we continue on to the cash receipts and the cash payments journal. I hope this helped you with the posting of special journals process. And if you have any questions, like always, be sure and contact me.